Hello, this is the Project 1 video to help walk you through setting up the file and some other stuff. So please don't plagiarize. This needs to be an original project that you've created for this section of the class, whether you've taken this class before or whatever. You can't reuse your work or someone else's work for this assignment. That is cheating and bad things happen. Alrighty. So if you're watching this video and you're using a MacBook, then I take you through these steps. Here is the information about the project. I'll show you the Excel file in a second. You'll use this Excel file to do the work, and then you'll submit that file. Do not submit a different file. I do kind of show you from the student preview about after you upload it, so you can see it. This is a much more significant grade than one of the earlier quizzes where you uploaded a file. But if you did complete those quizzes, then you have uploaded a file and you know what to do. If there is a problem with the instructions that you need help with, I'll try to clarify those things. But I did create the worksheets and have some specific things in the worksheets that relate directly to this project. So I would highly recommend you go back to those worksheets and look for something, and then ask that question about the worksheet or whatever homework assignment. But don't ask me, I don't understand step 4, how am I supposed to do that? That's not a question I can answer. For this project and project 2, you do need to use Excel to create a different trend line than you did for the WebAssign homework. So in this folder, we'll take a quick look. I actually have 3 different worksheets showing you how to create 3 different trend lines. So make sure you review that information, and you can practice it and ask me questions about it like that to make sure. But you just click a couple of things in Excel. And then, okay, so back to the actual Excel file. So when you first open it, you'll see this screen, and of course you want to click the Enable Editing. And of course it doesn't work while I am making this video, so let's take another shot at it. I need elevator music there. Okay, there we go. So back here and Enable Editing. I think what happened was I downloaded it and then I deleted it while it was still open. And so got that error message. And then click the Enable Content. Now this is what this content is, ActiveX and macros, and that's what sometimes messes up the MacBook. But sometimes not. It varies from student to student. So we do need to put our name and initials. One day I'll learn how to change that. And then scroll down and you'll see this Generate Data button. Now this button is actually where the ActiveX is. I discovered that last semester. And you can see you get 2 new pages down here. We'll look at those in a second, but just to help prevent some possible problems, I suggest I've had 1 student in 6 years that had problems with this, so I don't know if you will or not. Delete that sheet, because that button that you clicked is where the ActiveX is. And like I said, MacBook, if you're on a PC, I've never had a student have any kind of problems on the PC like that. Okay, the second thing is we need to disable the macros. And before we do that, just a reminder about, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. That feedback is new down there. So on the MacBook, this is somewhere under Preferences, but you'll see a Formula tab like this, and Update. It looks like I've defaulted the file to that. MacBook users may need to enable the iterative calculation, and then just add some zeros. Don't go beyond the rectangle on the screen there. That will greatly improve the accuracy of GoalSeek, just FYI. So let's go back to the save. So we'll save as. Now save it somewhere that'll be easy for you to find, wherever that may be. Give it a name that you'll recognize, whatever. I suggest that since you've generated the data, you create an original file, and then we'll save it again as a working file like that, just so you don't have to redo that data again. So this is where you need to change the type of file. You can see it's macro enabled. You've got that M instead of the X on the end. And this has, again, also helped MacBook users in general, but PC users as well, because I only want that file right there. You don't need the macros anymore like that. So change that file to the XLSX, and then immediately go back and maybe change it to something with a different name that you'll do your work on. Just in case something goes wrong, you don't have to regenerate the data. Every time you click that Generate Data button, this data in the table is new. So if you do it once and save it, and then save a file that you're going to work on, then you should be good like that. Okay, so the Scenario 1 tab down here is where the instructions are, and the Scenario 1 answers are where you put your answers. So do your Excel work here, and the text boxes where you'll type out your answers here. Do everything top to bottom like I've got organized here. Don't do left to right, diagonal, nothing like that. Just straight up and down. Well, technically down, because that's how we'll scroll there, like that. And check the print preview. I did myself adjust these text boxes so that they will satisfy what I'm asking you to do as well. So make them, wide enough and tall enough so that everything can be seen and there's no overlap and all that sort of nonsense that your crazy instructor wants you to do, like that. Beyond that, just be very careful about reading the instructions. If you actually look at this next to the lab manual instructions, please do not follow the lab manual instructions. You will see that I have vastly increased the specific things I'm telling you to do. I've done that so that I can kind of draw out what I think you should be doing, rather than click, type, answer. That was what I was getting years ago. I think this is much more significant than a web assignment or even a quiz on Blackboard. This is a big chunk of your grade, and you need to demonstrate that to me in the information that you're giving me. So on Blackboard, I think step 1 through 4 I say are straight out of Unit 1. Unit 2 is where we take the derivative. And then Unit 3 is where we do the maximum. This is not something you can do the algebraic way. And then there's a lot of text, typing, essay kind of answer that you've got to do. And I think that is everything. So I walked you through the macro ActiveX. So even if you're not a MacBook user, you definitely want to save it in that format. You may or may not want to delete that sheet. If you do have a problem subsequent, you might want to delete that. Like I said, I had one MacBook user that had a problem with that tab, that intro sheet being there, and then we deleted it and it worked fine, but I've never had anyone else. I've also never had anyone using a PC versus a MacBook ever had any problem with anything, etc., like that. I guess that's the end of this video.